Coming up on Mountain News this morning, friends, family, and a community prepare to say one last goodbye to a young athlete who lost his life much too soon. And an Eastern Kentucky Police Department advocates for better mental health services for officers across the Commonwealth so they can properly heal from traumatic experiences they can have while on the job.
Dedicated to Eastern and Southern Kentucky, this is WYMT Mountain News this morning.
Good morning, I'm Keaton Hall. The time is 6:32. It's a little soggy on this Friday for some people around the area. What's it looking like, Brandon, as we kind of go throughout the day?
Yeah, it's going to start to, if everything works out according to plan, start to die down a little bit later today. But this morning, you're right, it is soggy for folks getting out the door, especially in some areas. Let's take a look at the last 6 hours on the satellite radar loop, and you'll see that it started a little earlier this morning and then really picked up there. It was coming down pretty good for a little while, but now it's kind of slacked off again. But if you're around the Hal Rogers Parkway Highway 80 corridor all the way from West Virginia into Southern Kentucky, you are seeing this morning. But that front that stalled out again to our south is keeping most of the rain to the south today, which we kind of expected that would be the case. So if you're living in parts of McCreary County, or I'm trying to look at the yellow spots there on radar, parts of Knott County over into parts of southern Floyd County, parts of Pike County, parts of Letcher County, you're seeing some of the heaviest bands of rain right now. Whitesburg, not too bad at the moment. Whitesburg proper. Now other parts, northern parts of Letcher County, is seeing that pretty good, but you see temperatures out there a bit on the chilly side this morning, so grab your jacket, grab your umbrella, because it's not going to get a whole lot warmer today. I think the overcast skies continue all day long, and we'll see temperatures climb to about 55 later today. Keaton.
All right, thanks, Brandon. A death investigation is underway in southern Kentucky after human remains were found in Clay County. The sheriff says someone walking along Highway 66 near the Big Creek community found a human skull Monday night. The sheriff's office and the coroner responded. Then they found more bones. The remains were sent to the medical examiner's office. They've not been identified yet, and the cause of death is still unknown. The Floyd County Coroner's Office is asking for your help in identifying the next of kin for two people. The first is Timothy Clemmer Bateman. Officials say he died on March 25th at his home in Prestonsburg. He was born on May 30th, 1956. The second man is Herman Edward Parrish, Jr. He died on April 5th and lived in Melvin. He was born on April 30th, 1962. If you or someone you know are a family member of either man, you're asked to call the Floyd County Coroner's Office. Tributes from across the state continue to pour into Pulaski County as the community mourns the loss of 17-year-old Andrew Dodson. Dodson died Monday after he was injured in a high school football practice game last Friday. His coach says the school will honor his memory by turning on the stadium lights tonight. Coaches throughout the region and even the state are following suit.
As I mentioned, our hearts and prayers are with them, with the family. I did talk to Coach Hines, and it's a terrible tragedy, and we're glad to just be a small part in honoring him tomorrow at 7:30.
The funeral for Andrew Dodson will take place at 11 o'clock this morning at the Center for Rural Development in Somerset. Former longtime Knott County Judge John Robert Morgan has died. He was also known to his loved ones as Bobby. His family says he died April 1st. Morgan was elected Knott County Attorney in 1965, became District Judge in 1978 and Circuit Judge in 1984. He served as Circuit Judge until a car crash in 2004. He was also heavily involved in the community and First Baptist Church of Hyman, where he played the piano and organ for more than 30 years. Hyman Funeral Services are handling the arrangements, but services are expected to be held next week. John Robert Morgan was 85 years old. One community in Floyd County is mourning the loss of its beloved mayor. 70-year-old Sharon Woods died at her home on Wednesday and leaves behind a host of family and friends. She served as mayor of the city of Allen for nearly 30 years. Along with serving as mayor, she previously served as a secretary for the Floyd County Attorney's Office for nearly 20 years. County Attorney Keith Bartley says Woods' generosity and servant's heart will be dearly missed.
Till the day she died, you know, she was always thinking about and taking care of the needs of others, her family, her friends, whoever it might be. And that is a pretty special person. There's not a whole lot of people I could say that about, I honestly couldn't name anything Sharon Woods ever did for Sharon Woods.
Bartley says he has known Woods and her family for nearly 40 years, adding that the world needs more people like Sharon. More than 9 months after a deadly Floyd County ambush killed 3 officers and a canine, the mental health impacts of law enforcement officers continue. Prestonsburg police say they have a mental health program and believe it's important for all departments to have them. And now a new law provides funding to do just that. Chad Hedrick breaks down the law and how it will impact officers.
The night of June 30th is still fresh in the minds of the Prestonsburg Police and Floyd County Sheriff's Departments.
What we went through last summer is something that we will never get over.
That night, Deputy William Petrie, Police Captain Ralph Frazier, Officer Jacob Chaffins, and K-9 Drago were shot and killed in an ambush attack in Allen. Several other responders were severely injured.
After the incident happened, the outpouring of support from our community was tremendous. From pastors and counselors, just your normal everyday citizen coming up, anything we can do for you.
While the community support has continued, the officers in the police department have also relied on a counseling program they had in place before the tragedy.
We've always had partners within our community that's been there for us and let us come and talk to them if we needed somebody to talk to.
Officers and first responders see a lot of tragedy and trauma on the job. House Bill 207 is designed to help departments provide resources they need to process hardships.
Whether it be a shooting, a severe child abuse case, a homicide, or even a fatal wreck to where an officer has to respond to it, that takes a toll on the officer.
A toll that can impact how the officer is able to do their job and protect their community.
That was Chad Hedrick reporting. Under the bill, all sessions and information discussed in the wellness programs will remain confidential under counselor-client privilege. April is Distracted Driving Awareness Month. And the most recent report from the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration shows more than 3,500 people were killed nationwide in car crashes that involved distracted drivers in 2021. Kentucky had 120 deadly crashes in that year. That's more than 30% higher than in 2020 when there were 91. AAA says distracted driving is not only an issue with teen drivers, and a phone is not the only type of distraction.
Set your navigation system before you head out. Make sure that you have your music set the way that you want it. We want to make any distraction behind the wheel just as socially unacceptable as drinking while driving.
Those with AAA say it's also important to note they believe distracted driving incidents are grossly underreported because it's hard for the police to prove. A new bill requires a life-saving device to be readily accessible in every middle and high school in the state. We're talking about automated external defibrillators, or AEDs. Now one Lexington mother is questioning whether the bill goes far enough. She shared with Julia Sandor about how she knows firsthand the importance of AEDs.
Why us? Like, why them? They're kids, you know, they don't deserve this.
Jenny Bowe's children are just 8 and 11 years old.
Probably the hardest part is telling my kids that I didn't want to say you could die, but at the same time, they need to know the gravity.
Landon and Sadie were diagnosed with type 2 long QT syndrome. It's an abnormality of the heart's electrical system that could lead to sudden cardiac arrest.
And I'm a cardiac nurse, so unfortunately, it's a blessing and a curse. I know a lot. I work with our electrophysiology doctors, and so I know too much.
Although House Bill 331 was signed into law, it only requires AEDs in middle and high school, not elementary. While there is one AED in Bowe's children's school, she says it isn't enough.
There is one. It is in the cafeteria. It is not portable, and it is nowhere near the gym, nor the outside when they have recess. So we had requested that the school get a second AED, at least put it in the gym.
She says the school approved the second AED, but they're still waiting for it.
And they should have it there. We shouldn't have to ask for it.
It's a fear she has to live with every day as a mother of 2 energetic and athletic kids. But without better access to medical equipment like AEDs, she says they won't be able to do what they love.
That's why it's so important to know. Awareness is a blessing.
That was Julia Sandor reporting. Jenny says she wishes every teacher would get certified to use an AED during an emergency. Right now, House Bill 331 requires all athletic coaches and a minimum of just 3 employees in the school to be trained.
.642 here on this Friday morning. We continue to track some rain across parts of the region. We've been looking at the last 6 hours here, and you can see it's kind of clustered in those southern counties and the eastern counties because that front that's been plaguing us for a couple of days started moving and stopping, moving and stopping. It's to our south, but it has stopped again. So the rain train continues. Live pinpoint Doppler radar, some heavier pockets over into parts of southern Pike County there this morning, and then down into parts of southern Kentucky, back out toward Pulaski and Wayne counties this morning. All right, temperatures out there still in the 40s and 50s. Not a whole lot of change there. 41 Hazard, Williamsburg to 52 in Jonesville. A lot of 40s out there this morning. Out the door forecast features again some cooler temperatures pretty much all day long. 55 will be our daytime high right around 5 o'clock this afternoon. But again, it's going to be an overcast day even when the rain stops. Keaton?
Thanks, Brandon. Still to come on Mountain News this morning. Pharmacies across the U.S. prepare to remove a drug meant to reduce the risk of preterm birth from their stocks after an investigation finds it really isn't all that effective. That's on the way next.